Hey there, folks, and welcome back to the I Am CDB project. I am, of course, your host, CDB. You are Noah, and today we're going to use Catie's Bubbles Tonsorium, which is a nice barbershop-y type scent with a floral sort of hint to it. I typically don't like anything floral, but this one is nice. Actually, it's the way he's got it characterized on the labels. Familiar fougere topped with citrus, but for me, in some ways, it's kind of barbershop-y. Definitely some citrus, but a little touch of floral as well for my nose. But again, you know, the way you perceive scents, sometimes subjective. We're also going to use the West Coast Shaving Lithe head, which is designed by Charcoal Razors. Again, it's got sort of that, sort of like a bevel there that sort of keeps your angle. On sale right now, I believe for $9.99 at West Coast Shaving, not the handle, but the head. Riding in it is an Astra SP blade, and we're going to use our West Coast Shaving synthetic, which we've been using every single time we're on video for the last good while. And again, the point of that is just to keep plugging with this brush to see what the durability is. And it's not dropping any fibers or anything like that. So for 16 bucks, I think it is, somewhere thereabouts, it's doing a very good job. Got a nice knot on it. I want to say the knot on this, it's 26 millimeters. So it's a good sized knot. And it does a really nice job in my estimation. Let's get rid of that before we get in our eyes. I don't know why I'm lathering so close to my eyes. That's kind of stupid, but you know, everyone's capable of doing things that are particularly smart at times, self-included. And let's cut that down a little bit. I don't need to shave clear down to my chest. Anyway, I've used this once on video and I had a good run with it. Again, it's, as you look at it, it's got a pretty steep top cap. And it kind of gives you the perfect angle to use it with, or at least, you know, that's what it seems like to me. And I think it's marketed that way. It is mild, in my opinion, to entry medium, let's say. And it does a good job. And I've only used it once, so I wanted to grab it and use it again to show it to you. I enjoyed it the first time. Again, it's 10 bucks, inexpensive head, which works very well. And you know, I'm a fan of, you know, budget gear. I just think it's good stuff. And you know, when I'm not on video, folks, I do use other things like, you know, your artisan soaps and so on, and so forth. And one of the things I want to mention is there's always a lot of hoopla about, you know, the artisan soaps with the latest exotic ingredient. You know, Blue Emu, I mean, I know that's a product. So, Emu Essence, or, you know, Dragon's Blood, Goat's Milk, you know, some elixir or concoction that's supposed to be the very best thing that provides the best shave of all time. What do I think about that? Honestly, I don't know. But my inclination, and again, I think the only real way to know is to try these things blind. And it's very difficult to have sort of a blind test, not knowing what's in your container and not knowing what you're using. There are several reasons why I'm not sure that these are always what they're cut out to be. One is, you know, we have no way of knowing what's... I trust, honestly, that most of the artisans that we are familiar with do have integrity, most, and are doing what they say they do in terms of putting the ingredients in the soaps that they say they are. But honestly, I mean, you could have a batch and put one little drop of some special ingredient in it and say it has goat's milk. Now, you know, here in the US, we're supposed to put, you know, the ingredients that are mostly predominant go to the left, and then As they diminish, they go to the right. So if you look at something and the ingredient is on the first thing you see, there's more of that than the things to the right of it. That's generally the way things are supposed to be done, but there's really no regulation. And I'm not suggesting that there should be. Let me be very, very clear about that, because people will start immediately taking things out of context. What I'm saying is, basically, artisans can put whatever they want in the soaps or not. I believe, and I'm going on record as saying, I believe most of them put what they say they put in the soaps. At what level? Who knows? But I don't believe they're just listing ingredients that aren't in the soaps, although it is possible. So, I mean, you have to leave that open as a possibility. I know folks have made mistakes in labeling soaps in the past, the order not being correct and so on and so forth. And so what I'm saying is, you know, you can get a soap that says it's got super emu elixir in it. I'm just making that up, obviously. And maybe it doesn't have all that much of anything special in it. Maybe it does. You don't know. So really what you have to do, the only way to really know would be to try it blind without preconceived notions, because, you know, I'm someone who believes that preconceived notions weigh strongly on opinions in the shaving community. And once something gets a little bit of, once influencers get a hold of something and put it out there that it's the greatest of all time, it becomes the greatest of all time for most people. It's just in people's nature to sort of jump on board. There are certainly contrarians that'll go, that's all hype, and they say everything's bad. But, you know, if everyone is really positive, or at least the people that the information that you're consuming all suggests that it's positive, you're likely to probably think it is too. And it's hard to really judge unless you compare it against another product and you don't know which is which, and you're doing a blind test. And so that would be the only way that I would really be able to tell. Now, I know I can tell when something is good and not as good, but when it gets to those uber top levels, it's hard to tell one from another. And I suspect, to be quite frank, that a lot of the people who, you know, obviously there are certain soaps that have certain consistencies, you can tell what they are. But if it was totally blind and you didn't have like a particular scent, there was no scent, and the soap didn't look like a particular artisan, and they all look the same and you used them, that some people might not be able to tell some from others, and some people would. You know, there's some people that have it dialed in to that level. But for the average user, is who I'm trying to speak to, I don't know. I would have to test it blind, not knowing. And then I think I could make a pretty fair judgment. But it's really hard when you know something, what something is and what it has in it, unless it's bad. You know, unless it's just really bad, to say, oh, that is the best, you know. Every now and then you do get a product like that, don't get me wrong, but generally it's pretty tough. I don't know, I'm going pretty quick here. I don't know if I skipped a pass there, you know. When I get to flapping my midi jowls, you know, sometimes I lose track, but anyway, let me just feel around. See, I'll do some touching up. Let's do a little touching up. Something I don't do much. Just do a little touching up. Anyway, I just think it's difficult when you have a lot of information and preconceived notions to really evaluate a product. I think too much information is a bad thing for me. And I think a lot of people fall victim to it. Now, back to the razor. It's doing very well. I'm doing some additional touching up here just for the heck of it. It's not because the razor's bad, it's just because I'm not sure how many passes I made there. Whether I did 2 or 3 or skipped or did partials. Because when I'm talking, I'm just shaving, I'm not really paying attention. And so I'm paying more attention to flapping the gums than I'm shaving. And I don't think most people would come and watch the videos if I wasn't talking. And personally, I find videos where there's long dead air, whereas no one, there's no talking, boring. And so I never liked watching those. And so I like somebody who's just, giving information as they see it for you to consume. And so that's the way I sort of do it. Anyway, the Lithe, I tell you, for $9.99, it's worth a flyer. To add to your kit, it's inexpensive. It does a good job. It's mild enough to where it's not going to be threatening, I don't think, for anyone. How it works for you, you just have to try it and see. Sometimes we get a lot of questions about, will this work for me? And I can't tell you. I can never tell you what razor is going to work best for you. But I can say the West Coast Shaving Lithe at $9.99 as of right now, December 19th, thereabouts, on sale for $9.99 West Coast Shaving. And of course, we used Catie's Bubbles Tonsorium. Very, very good stuff. I really like it. And of course, the very, very fine West Coast Shaving Synthetic, which has been doing really, really well and is inexpensive. I like budget stuff, folks. What can I say? Again, I want to thank everyone for joining me. If you would like to help me out, please like below and subscribe. Follow the social media listed below, Twitter and so on and so forth. That would help me out. And reshare if you like the video. As always, I want to thank you for joining me. Until next time, I've been your host, EDB. You are not. God bless.